Tony Romo went from NFL quarterback to America's favorite football analyst in just a few years. His ability to predict plays before they happen made him a broadcasting legend. CBS paid him a fortune to keep him in the booth. But now, everything he's built could be at risk. Because the news that just broke isn't about his commentary skills or his contract negotiations. It's about an arrest. Let's be clear about what we're dealing with here. Reports have emerged that Tony Romo, one of the most recognizable voices in football broadcasting, has been arrested. The details are still developing, and what we know right now is limited. But in the world of sports media, perception moves faster than facts. And for CBS, for the NFL, and for Romo himself, this is already a crisis. To understand why this matters so much, you need to understand what Tony Romo represents to CBS Sports. When Romo retired from the Dallas Cowboys in 2017, he didn't just walk away from football. He reinvented himself. Most ex-players struggle in the broadcast booth. They're stiff, they stick to cliches, they don't connect with viewers. Romo was different. He brought energy. He brought genuine excitement. And most importantly, he brought insider knowledge that made watching games feel like you were sitting next to someone who could see the future. He'd watch the defense line up and say, "Watch for the screen here." And boom, screen pass. He'd call out blitzes before they happened. He made viewers feel smarter about football just by listening to him. CBS knew they had something special, and they paid for it. In the years since Romo joined CBS, the network has invested heavily in keeping him in the booth. His compensation has been reported to put him among the highest-paid sportscasters in television history. The kind of money that reflects just how valuable CBS believed he was to their NFL coverage. He wasn't just a commentator. He was a brand, a draw, a reason people tuned in. And now, all of that is in question. Here's what CBS is dealing with right now. The NFL season is the crown jewel of American sports television. Networks pay billions for the rights to broadcast games. And those games are only valuable if people watch them. Tony Romo made people watch. He brought casual fans in because he made the game accessible. He kept hardcore fans engaged because he gave them insights they couldn't get anywhere else. And he had chemistry with Jim Nantz that made their broadcasts feel effortless. But broadcasting is a business built on trust and reputation. Sponsors don't want controversy. The NFL doesn't want distractions. And CBS doesn't want one of their marquee talents becoming the story instead of covering the story. Right now, executives at CBS are having very difficult conversations. Do they wait for more information? Do they issue a statement? Do they quietly start making contingency plans for who could replace Romo in the booth if this gets worse? Because here's the reality. Networks have morality clauses in their contracts. They have standards and practices departments. They have legal teams analyzing every angle. And they have a multi-billion-dollar relationship with the NFL to protect. If this arrest involves anything that could embarrass the league, anything that could create ongoing headlines, anything that could turn Romo from an asset into a liability, CBS will have to make a decision. And those decisions in corporate America rarely favor sentimentality over business. Let's talk about what happens if CBS does decide to move on from Romo. The broadcast booth isn't like playing quarterback. There's no combine. There's no draft. Finding someone who can actually do this job well is incredibly rare. Phil Simms had the job before Romo. He was fine, professional, knowledgeable, but he didn't have that spark. When CBS made the switch to Romo, it was because they knew they'd found someone irreplaceable, or so they thought. The problem for CBS is that there aren't a lot of Tony Romos waiting in the wings. Peyton Manning has been courted by multiple networks, but he's been selective about his opportunities. He's built a media empire with his production company. He does Monday Night Football with his brother on ESPN's Manningcast, which has become appointment television in its own right. Would Peyton jump to CBS if they came calling with the right offer? Maybe, but that's not a quick fix. That's a negotiation. That's a restructuring of someone's entire professional life. Drew Brees tried broadcasting. It didn't stick. He's since moved on. Jason Witten came back to playing after 1 year in the booth. The list of quarterbacks who successfully transitioned to elite broadcasting is incredibly short. And here's the other problem. Even if CBS finds someone talented, that person needs chemistry with Jim Nantz. They need to mesh with the production style. They need to build credibility with viewers. That doesn't happen overnight. Romo made it look easy, but what he does is actually incredibly difficult, which is exactly why CBS paid him so much to do it, and exactly why this situation is so precarious. Now let's talk about the other elephant in the room, the National Football League. The NFL doesn't employ Tony Romo. CBS does. But the NFL has enormous influence over who broadcasts their games. They care deeply about the image of their product, and they've shown, time and time again, that they will pressure networks to make changes when they feel it's necessary. We've seen commentators lose jobs over controversial statements. We've seen the league push back against coverage they didn't like. We've seen them protect their brand at all costs. So if this arrest turns into something that generates negative headlines week after week, if it becomes a distraction every time Romo is on air, if it starts affecting how viewers perceive the broadcasts, the NFL will make their concerns known to CBS. And when the NFL expresses concerns to a broadcast partner, those concerns tend to get addressed. Because no network wants to risk their relationship with the league. The NFL is too valuable. The ratings are too important. The revenue is too massive. This puts CBS in an impossible position. They've invested heavily in Romo. They've built their NFL coverage around him. They've promoted him as the face of their broadcasts. But if the league starts applying pressure, if sponsors start getting nervous, if the story becomes bigger than the games themselves, loyalty only goes so far in this business. So where does this leave us? Right now, we're in the waiting period. The period where facts are being gathered, statements are being prepared, and lawyers are being consulted. Tony Romo's team is likely working on damage control. They're figuring out the best way to address this publicly. They're considering timing, messaging, and strategy. CBS is monitoring the situation closely. They're assessing public reaction. They're gaming out scenarios. They're protecting their interests while trying to support someone who's been tremendously valuable to them. And the NFL? They're watching. They're evaluating. They're deciding how much this matters to them. Here's what we know for certain. Tony Romo built one of the most successful second careers in sports broadcasting history. He became must-watch television. He changed how people thought about football commentary. But broadcasting is different than playing football. When you're on the field, your performance speaks for itself. When you're in the booth, everything matters. Your credibility, your reputation, your image. One arrest might not end a career, but it can change everything about how that career moves forward. CBS has options, but none of them are easy. They can stand by Romo and weather whatever storm comes. They can quietly start planning for alternatives. They can wait and see how serious this becomes. What they can't do is ignore it. Because in modern media, silence is a strategy, but it's rarely a solution. The NFL season is the biggest television event in America every year. Millions of people tune in every week. And when they do, they expect professionalism. They expect quality. They expect the broadcast to be about football, not about the broadcaster. Tony Romo became famous in the booth for seeing things before they happened. The irony is that right now, no one can predict what happens next. Not the experts, not the analysts, not even Romo himself. All we can do is watch how this unfolds and wait to see if one of broadcasting's brightest stars can weather this storm, or if this is the beginning of the end of an era. This is Edge of Entertainment. We'll keep you updated as this story develops.